the show where we talk about books and literally nothing else. It's called ELA News. As always, I am joined on the couch with my decent co-host. Hi, I'm also here. Yep, there he is. So today we're talking about the world-famous book, Lord of the Flies. This book has a bit of an argument going on about the book. Should modern readers read this book? And we're going to be putting a little bit of our input into this argument. So stay tuned till the end and enjoy. Please donate money. We're desperate. Like we ran out of coffee mugs a few days ago. I've been using bowls for my house. So. And apparently we ran out of coffee too. What is that? Ugh. Can we just cut to the intro?
One of the good messages explored in Lord of the Flies is the importance of having authority in society. This obviously plays a big role since most of the conflict in the novel is based on the idea of liberty versus security. This is almost directly agreed upon in the story. In the story, it actually says, we've got to have rules and obey them. After all, we're not savages, we're English, and the English are best at everything. So we've got to do the right things. Page 42. The kids on this island even agree that the rules are needed to maintain order. Without order, there's no guarantee of safety. Therefore, rules are helpful. This whole message is honestly pretty good because having some sort of authority or rules or laws is good, because it's there to keep people safe.
Now, I heard that we have a few things in the literary element department. Alright, so I have a few literary elements written down on this fancy high-tech laptop. We're going to talk about a few of them. First one, symbolism. Ooh. The Island of Boys symbolizes kind of what's happening outside the island, as in a bunch of war. You can see on the back of the book, it says, at the dawn of the next world war, it's about war and stuff. This book is actually packed with symbolism. It has a lot of symbolism in it. Another literary element he uses, allusion, not illusion, like I just did. The book actually takes a lot of things from another book called Coral Island. It's a pretty lighthearted book for the most part, not like Lord of the Flies. The author does this to kind of get the reader a little bit, less uneasy. This is a story that's lighthearted and kind of fun. Lord of the Flies is about child murder, which isn't fun. He even uses character names from Coral Island in Lord of the Flies. Another literary element, we have a lot of them, is tone. He writes things very descriptively. He uses this to definitely make the reader feel just uneasy, uncomfortable, and kind of disgusted. When it comes to the more gruesome parts of the books, he spares no detail, and often goes in length, and I mean in length, about what's happening. The reason he writes in this sinister, descriptive tone and says all these things in this really kind of gross way is that he is wanting people to kind of be able to understand just a little bit, the horrors of war, seeing as the boys on the island symbolize war as a whole. What's going on the island is the same as what's going on off the island with the adults. At the dawn of the next world war is what it says on the back of the book anyway. This was recorded after I did all of this, because I forgot to say it earlier. Let's just keep going. He's experienced war firsthand, he's seen a lot of things, so he's kind of making the reader feel the way he did. It's not stylized, not super glorified, or just kind of altered to make it less horrifying. He embraces that. He makes it gruesome, disgusting, disturbing, because that's kind of how he felt in the wars. And finally, the fourth literary element. A metaphor. It is a metaphor. The metaphor being the beast itself. The beast is just a metaphor for the beast is a metaphor for all of the primal instincts and savagery in humans, previously mentioned. He uses this, and he even has quotes in the book that basically says it's a part of everyone, and all humans have these instincts, which I don't know if is true. And, quote time, by the way, the beast actually speaks to one of the kids on page 143, where it's appearing to this kid as the Lord of the Flies, which is a pig's head on a stick.
Fancy thinking the beast was something you could hunt and kill. You knew, didn't you? I'm part of you. I'm the reason why it's no-go. Why are things the way that they are?
Basically implying, yeah, I'm part of you, and these primal instincts are part of all of you. Cool. And there are loads, and I mean loads, of symbols in the story, as well as messages about how violent and just kind of evil humans are inherently. More on that later. Back to you guys, I guess. Well, that there settles it. This book is officially... I'm not so sure, okay? You read the book? Yes, I read the book. Just let me say something. Thank you. Go ahead. So, the main reason I kind of just don't agree is the main message. There's a bunch of cool literary elements, but let's not forget, the main message in the story basically says all humans are inherently evil and they give into their primal, primitive instincts that'll basically always cause violence and death every single time. And we're prone to do this eventually. So, it's a little pessimistic. Golding has been through multiple wars. He's probably seen things that are horrible, that people have done to others. It's very plausible that he could have just lost his faith in humanity after that. Then he goes on to write this book, and it shows from the symbols and the metaphors and, well, basically the book. You can definitely tell that he's very, very, very pessimistic about just humans in general. And this isn't correct. This just isn't correct. I mean, you're gonna tell me Mother Teresa is inherently evil? I'm gonna no, everyone is just a monster. That's just not true. Saying that every human is prone to giving in to their animalistic instincts and being just bad people is false, and that is not really a good message to just constantly refer back to in a book, no matter how good the book is. It's... Okay, yeah, that's actually a valid point. Do you have anything else to say about this? I do, actually. Just one more thing that I can refer back to. Can we do that thing where you like with him, where you cut to like the black screen and it just shows all like the stick figures and stuff? Are you doing it?
So there's a quote on page 62 that is about Roger throwing stones at another kid. It says, "There was a space around Henry, perhaps 6 yards in diameter, into which he dared not throw. Here, invisible yet strong, was the taboo of old life. Round the squatting child was the protection of parents and school and policemen and the law. Roger's arm was conditioned by a civilization that knew nothing of him and was in ruins."
Roger is aiming to miss at this one kid while he's throwing rocks because he was conditioned by a civilization, as the quote says it. And that seems to be the only reason why he's not hitting him with these rocks. Basically implying that the only reason they haven't descended into violence everywhere and just, hucking rocks at people is because of the authority figures they have. Their policemen, their laws, their rules. Take those away, and again, they give in to their primal instincts that are violent and that'll probably cause death. Still, it's not true. It's really not true. Roger is a perfect example of what Golding thinks people are like. He really wants to hit this kid with a rock, but society doesn't want him to, understandably. But he thinks that take away the laws immediately. Rock face. You're saying everybody in the world are just monsters that want to hurt everybody. But that is false. So I rest my case, yeah. So, I think that we have reached our final conclusion. The answer to should modern readers read this book? Our definitive answer is no. Like, it's an entertaining story. It has a lot of symbolism and literary elements. The
But, like,
messages aren't correct.
At the end of the day,
are
the
not
messages
correct. They
are
are
not
just
correct.
false. They are false.
They are just not true. It's a pretty good source if you want to teach people about literary elements, but the messages surrounding the entire book are just false. Thank you all for tuning in to ELA News. We would like to thank, well, my co-host for being here. He did a great job. Our editor, Craig, who's actually just another one of us, but on the other side of this phone. I mean camera. The studio, it's a really cool studio. I would also like to thank John Green. He hasn't been on the show yet, but if we say his name enough in the dark, maybe he'll spontaneously appear. Thanks for watching.
It's still not coffee.